Yu is an intelligent rookie who started working under his scary senior. However, everything changes when he finds out she's just a sweet, awkward weirdo who can't hide her love and desire to get freaky with him. It all starts on a regular day for Kanawa, who walks to the office, looking fabulous as usual in her confident stride. The second she steps into the office, her peers recognize her and glaze her achievements like your mother glazing your mailman's glizzy. But she quickly loses all of her aura when she fails to walk past the access gate. Then, inside the publishing office, everyone is working hard, trying their best to meet their goals. But while they're intense, they all greet each other good morning, while Kanawa does the same, but in a more monotone voice. While Kanawa is working on her desk, one of her co-workers, Rin, approaches her with bad news, saying that they failed to book Mia Khalifa for their event, and asks Kanawa what they should do. Coldly, Kanawa tells this fat oaf that it is her responsibility in the first place, but suggests that they quickly find a stand-in for their event, like Lana Rhodes, which Rin is thankful for. Then, Kanawa approaches another co-worker, Kosuke, to hand him some documents, which Kosuke is very much thankful for. But before leaving, Kanawa scolds him for having a garbage bin as a desk and tells him to clean up the mess. Just then, Kanawa is called by their director, Ig, for a talk. And while she's walking there, her co-workers gossip about how cold and scary she is as a person despite always being right. Ig reminds Kanawa that they will be having a newbie joining them, and he wants to put Kanawa as his mentor. He says that this newbie is excellent and even scored the highest grade in the exams, so he wants Kanawa, their department's ace, to train him. While Kanawa coldly accepts the responsibility, deep down, unbeknownst to everyone, Kanawa is actually an awkward, antisocial person. So she doesn't understand why her director put him in this position. Even after making herself the office's cold and antisocial loner, it bamboozles her why she is suddenly now someone's mentor. Suddenly, the newbie pops into the office. He apologizes for being late, explaining that he was cleaning his probation desk, and introduces himself as Yu. He apologizes for interrupting the director and Kanawa, but the director introduces Kanawa to Yu as his mentor and senior. He quickly bows and expresses how much he's looking forward to working under her, and while Kanawa responds coldly, deep down, she calls him a charming good man, so she makes it her mission to do her best to mentor him. Kanawa takes Yu on a tour around their office, starting with their products, explaining that they started with video games, but now create action figures and comics as well. She then shows him her desk, and his desk right next to hers. Then, the kitchen, the copy machine, the bathroom, and even the snacks they took from business trips, which she tells her is free for him to take. She believes she has covered everything that is to teach him, and he thanks her for the tour, saying that he will ask her more questions if he needs something. But then, Kanawa just starts working, while Yu is next to her, and he calls out for her to say that he doesn't know what he is supposed to be doing. In that moment, Kanawa realizes she forgot to teach him how to work, but quickly composes herself and tells him to follow her while she meets a client. She orders him to observe and shadow her, and she starts by teaching him how to hand business cards. But while she tries to look cool, all her cards fly out of her card holder, which embarrasses her. But Yu casually grabs all of her business cards from the floor and hands them back to her, which makes her blush redder than a tomato. They then greet the clients, who are the agents of Lana Rhodes, and Kanawa introduces Yu to them, which Yu follows by handing them their business cards. Then, while Kanawa presents their project to their client, she feels nervous after how she embarrassed herself with the cards and how Yu is staring daggers at her presentation. Kanawa appreciates Yu for paying attention closely and wants to do her best for him, but is unable to hold on to her nerve and gets flustered. Afterward, Kanawa feels the fatigue of being a mentor, and realizing that it's almost lunchtime, she thinks that as a mentor, she has to be the one who invites her trainee. She believes the restaurant she visited with her mentor is perfect for it, but she thinks hard about whether she should do it or not, and whether it's appropriate for her to invite Yu. She knows that she's not capable of making any small talk with him, so, while flustered, she orders Yu to get lunch by himself while she goes to another meeting. He accepts it, and Kanawa quickly leaves, not knowing why she ran away. Later, it's time to go home, and Yu bids farewell to Kanawa, which she responds to coldly. She knows that she should give some words of encouragement, but before doing so, Yu thanks her for today's guidance and apologizes if he was still making rookie mistakes due to being nervous. She responds, saying that no rookie could ever be perfect on their first day, and says that he can always count on her, which he accepts. But as he leaves, Kanawa can hear how the other co-workers are worried for Yu, and Yu saying that he was nervous. Then, on her way home, Kanawa realizes that she's no good and needs to be a reliable mentor, so she decides to start by being more honest with Yu. The next day, while Yu is having fun talking to other Rin and another co-worker, Kanawa appears, scaring Rin, and Kanawa tells them to get their filthy cheeks out of her way. But as she's sitting down at her desk, she believes that she greeted them warmly. Later, Kana assigns Yu to make a proposal for their clients, ordering him to follow her old proposals, but while giving him orders, she is making it her mission to invite him to lunch. Then, as lunch is getting closer, she gets more strict, scolding him for his lousy proposal, and orders him to finish it after lunch. There, she sees this as the perfect setup to invite him to lunch, but when she wants to invite him, the dude disappears from his desk and pops up seconds later with a cup of ramen in his hand as his lunch. She gets pissed, telling him to eat healthier food, but he tells her that he's on a budget, which softens Kanawa's attitude a little, as she feels sorry for him. At lunch, Kanawa eats by herself at a family restaurant, remembering how her mentor, Kanzaki, used to take her there for lunch and knew how to talk to her. Just then, Kanawa's friend, Ritsu, calls her, forcing Kanawa to fish her food. She then answers the call, and Ritsu informs her that they will work together more in the future, so he suggests that they give her rookie a chance to impress. He then laughs at Kanawa after hearing how she became someone's mentor despite having the personality of a wet sock. And Ritsu reminds her that just like how Kanzaku treated her, she needs to treat Yu nicely, or that he might change jobs because of her, which sours Kanawa's mood. He then suggests to Kanawa that she should buy self-development books on how to be a proper mentor. Kanawa rejects that idea, calling it stupid. But later, when it's time to go home, Kanawa goes home, but not before rushing to the library and bringing back loads of self-development books to help her become a better mentor. She realizes she forgot to buy herself dinner, so she makes herself a cup of ramen, while realizing how hypocritical she is for eating it after what she said to Yu, so she pairs it with some vegetable juice to make it healthier. Then, Kanawa grabs one book and starts reading, and the first lesson she reads is that communication is essential, so she should greet people warmly while smiling at them. She realizes she didn't smile previously, and dies from the cringe, so she tries to practice smiling in a mirror, and dies from even more cringe after seeing how chopped she looked. She then reads another lesson that says being strict as a mentor is outdated, and she should praise her juniors when they do good work or correct them when they make a mistake in order for them to grow. Reading that, she gets dizzy, not knowing how to do either of those things properly, and realizes how cooked she is for not training how to talk to people. Suddenly, she realizes her cup noodles are soggy, so she pulls out the chopsticks and starts eating. After a whole night of learning, she wakes up the next morning and realizes she's late for work. So she quickly gets ready, takes a shower, and makes herself look like $1 million. Then, she manages to get to work on time, and when she sees Yu, she is about to greet him with a smile like what the book said, when suddenly, some co-workers gossip loudly about how unlucky Yu is to have an ugly, scary witch hoe like Kanawa as his mentor. Kanawa freezes while feeling hurt and drops her notes, which reveals her notes to become a better mentor. When Yu picks them up for her, she takes them and looks at him in a sad way that Yu has never seen before, shocking him. Kanawa urges them to leave, but Yu walks past her and confronts the two hoes for what they said, and says that he is happy to work under Kanawa, who has shown him her rare kindness. The two gossipers realize that Kanawa is here, and they quickly walk away. Yu then apologizes for what he just did, and Kanawa tells him that she won't thank him, but shyly and silently, she thanks him for what he did, and they head to the office. Some days later, Kanawa delivers a presentation about a maid cafe where you can ask the maids to cream in your tea, which impresses the clients who can already see the profits rolling in, and Yu is off to the side watching his senpai in awe. Afterward, the clients praise Kanawa for her amazing work and say that they are eager to work with the company again before bidding farewell. Yu and Kanawa bow as they leave, but the second they leave, Kanawa coldly orders Yu to get involved in this maid cafe project and use her old proposals as a reference to make new ones. But as Kanawa walks back into her office, she tells herself that she will do her job as a senpai and invite you out to lunch with her. Later, to prepare making the proposal to their clients, Kanawa orders you to play their client's game to get a better feel of what to create. But you sucks more at the game than your mother's vacuum-like throat, leaving him with nothing. He points out how amazing it is that Kanawa always plays their clients' games beforehand, and he says it's a part of the job. But unknown to him, Kanawa is a massive gamer at home, so massive that she used to be a beta tester for video games. Seeing him struggle, Kanawa takes charge and plays the game herself. But then, she starts swaying left and right, struggling to play, and she realizes that she's used to playing on a controller instead of a phone. As she's swaying, she falls on the floor, but to save her from the embarrassment, Yu suggests that they play the game together. However, they end up still sucking, and while Yu is busy looking for references, Kanawa is busy trying to get good at it. Later, in the office, as lunch is approaching, the others are preparing to go out, while Kanawa is pressuring herself to ask Yu to have lunch with her. As she's about to ask him, she sees him completely focused on his work and thinks that the timing is off. Just then, a co-worker asks Kanawa to help her with something, so Kanawa leaves her desk to help her. In that moment, Yu looks for her and finds her standing near another person's desk, so he holds off on asking her for something. Then, their boss calls Kanawa to have a word with him, drifting her further away from her desk. Suddenly, Yu gets invited to lunch by the others, and hearing that, Kanawa realizes she screwed up for missing her window to ask him. While this goes on, her boss is asking her to take a big responsibility, but Kanawa is not listening, as she's too focused on Yu. But then, Yu says that he already brought his own lunch, which eases Kanawa's mind, but the boss is waiting for her answer, and she just accepts it without knowing what she agreed to. She then approaches Yu to invite him to lunch, but realizes she can't invite him, as he already brought his own food. She starts thinking of different ways and timings to do it, but the more she thinks about it, she sees that she either looks creepy or puts pressure on him. Suddenly, Yu pulls out his cup of instant ramen, and when Kanawa notices it, she glares at him, and Yu realizes he messed up, promising to save up for the next month. However, in that moment, Kanawa sees her window of opportunity, and she stands up to tell Yu that she will treat him to lunch, refusing to accept a rejection. She orders him to follow her, saying that as his senpai, it is her duty to make sure he eats good food. They end up at the restaurant Kanawa was in before, and she is ecstatic that she got Yu to eat lunch with her, the same way her old senpai, Kanzaki, took her to lunch. Back then, Kanzaki taught her things as her senior, but she also used to do things for Kanawa that a junior should have been doing, like fetching drinks for the table. Kanawa wants to be that person to Yu, but to her surprise, Yu had already fetched drinks for the table, showing his good etiquette as a junior. They then order some food for the table, but when Kanawa sees that Yu only ordered the cheapest salad, she refuses to stay still and gives him half of her meat for him to eat. He eats it, says it's delicious, and thanks her, which flusters Kanawa. Suddenly, Kanawa asks Yu why he's on a budget, but quickly realizes that it was rude for her to ask him that question. However, Yu answers shamefully that he has been buying plastic model kits, which became his hobby and took his money. He thinks he's a disappointment for liking childish things like that, but Kanawa sternly assures him that there's nothing wrong with having things that he enjoys, which lightens Yu's mood. But she tells him to be mindful of his health while at it. Later, back home, Kanawa continues playing the game from earlier and manages to master it, which gives her a sense of satisfaction. She then goes to find dinner, but because she was playing too much, she forgot to buy herself anything, so she ends up with a cup of instant ramen and a juice, just like before. The next morning, he heads to work, a bit sleepy after playing the whole night, but confident that she can answer any question Yu asks her after a whole night of playing the game. Then, in the office, she fully expects Yu to ask her questions, so she could be like Kanzaku, who helped her a lot in her early years. Just like what Kanzaki did to her, Kanawa tells Yu that if he has anything to ask, he should ask her directly, and Yu thanks her for the offer. But to her surprise, Yu says that he believes that he will be okay himself and thanks her for checking on him. She continues watching over him like a hawk, expecting him to ask her something. But when she checks on him once more, he assures her that everything is okay. Then, Kanawa suspects that she might have created a heavy atmosphere that made you nervous to ask her anything, and regrets not opening up to him the day before. So she decides to invite him to lunch once more. This time, she will show him how great of a senpai she is. But when she returns to the office, she overhears the others inviting you to lunch, and he suggests that they invite Kanawa as well. The others quickly turn it down, saying that Kanawa never accepted their invitation and preferred to eat alone. Kanawa quickly hides as they enter the elevator and realizes she lost her shot to invite him to lunch. So she eats alone on a park bench, acknowledging that Yu is fantastic at his job, and wonders if everything she taught him has been useless. Just then, she gets a call for the clients, and in that moment, Yu and the others walk by. Yu sees her on her phone call, passionately talking to the clients, and is in awe of her. That night, while everyone have gone home, Yu continues working and tells Kanawa that he will stay late. She offers him her help, but he assures her that he will be okay. She goes downstairs, prepared to go home herself, but she turns around, refusing to be a senior who lets her junior work late. Back in the office, Kanawa hides from Yu, slowly sneaking in, but he calls her out, and she makes an excuse, saying that she also has more work to do. She sits at her desk, and when she sees the time, she suggests that he should go home, but Yu refuses. He suddenly expresses how her proposal touched him, seeing how much passion can be felt when he read it, so he doesn't want to disappoint her by giving her a half-cooked proposal. When Yu glances at her, Kanawa is tearing up, and she quickly says that her eyes are dry. She praises him for working hard, but scolds him if he gets sick because of it. He then thanks her for inviting him to lunch, considering she hates eating with others, but she quickly assures him that she did it because she wanted to eat with him. She quickly blushes, realizing what she said, but Yu simply thanks him. Then, after finishing, Kanawa finds Yu asleep in his desk, and seeing this chance, she compliments his good work and makes sure he's warm. Then, when he wakes up, he's confused about what happened. Some days later, Kanawa and Yu are called by their boss to talk, and they are informed that there will be a drinking party to celebrate one of their co-workers getting married. But the boss adds that since they haven't celebrated Yu joining their team yet, the boss wants to combine the two celebrations into one drinking party. However, the boss orders Yu to take responsibility for the drinking party, saying that it would be a good practice for him to learn how to entertain guests. He also tells Kanawa to help guide him through the process by helping Yu pick a spot and get a present for the married couple. And while Yu is looking forward to it, Kanawa is depressed inside, as she has never been to a drinking party before. After work, they look for presents and visit a gift shop. Yu asks out loud what people usually get for married couples, and Kanawa says that you can leave it to the professional, meaning her. However, she quickly browses through the internet, looking for ideas on what to buy, while regretting for always being an introvert who never got invited to any weddings or parties. But she makes it her mission to support Yu in his task, so she starts looking around the catalog and finds two matching cat mugs, which she thinks are perfect for a wedding gift. She picks one up to examine it, unaware that Yu is staring at her choice. But when he speaks, she gets surprised and accidentally drops the mug, breaking it. The clerk makes sure they are okay, and Kanawa says that she will pay for the mug she broke. The clerk assures her that she doesn't have to, while Kanawa insists, but Yu jumps in and says that he wants to buy a pair himself. Kanawa scolds him for trying to cover up for her slip-up, but Yu assures her that he genuinely thinks that the mugs are great, so he wants to buy them for himself. While Yu goes to pay for them, Kanawa feels embarrassed by what just happened, so she tells herself that she needs to do better at finding gifts. Afterward, they sit down for coffee after buying soft fowls for the gift, following Kanawa's suggestion. Yu notices what Kanawa is drinking, and is surprised to know that she drinks pure black coffee. She says that coffee is only good to keep them awake and adding anything to it ruins the flavor, but after saying that, she quickly realizes how pretentious she sounds. When Yu drinks his coffee, Kanawa feels jealous, but she convinces herself that she has to drink the same coffee her senpai drank in the past. But when Kanawa drinks it, she screams out how bitter and intense it tastes, and Yu quickly offers her milk and sugar, which Kanawa accepts. Later, they look for venues for the event, and Kanawa wonders if Yu has places he usually goes to have a drink or eat. She realizes she knows nothing about Yu, except the fact that he likes eating instant ramen to save money. So she asks him straight up if he likes to drink alcohol. When Yu says that he doesn't like drinking, Kanawa celebrates, as she's the same way, but quickly pulls back her cold composure in front of him. Just then, Yu apologizes for dragging Kanawa into planning the event, knowing that Kanawa doesn't go out to drinking parties, but Kanawa assures Yu that she will be there, as it is to celebrate him joining their team. She then says that he doesn't have to accept every invite that people ask him, but Yu says that he would love to go drinking with her. Kanawa gets flustered and quickly says that she's not interested, but she quickly regrets her own words, as she would like to go out drinking with him if she gets the chance. The next day, Kanawa is still haunted by what she said, but when she gets to her desk, she spots the cat mug from yesterday. Yu pops up and says that he saw how she loved the mug, so he wanted to give one to her, considering he only needed one. Kanawa says that she will be using it as her toothbrush holder, while smiling and blushing. Days later, they have their drinking party, and Kanawa is forced to do a toast by her boss, which she does coldly and as quickly as possible. When she sits down, everyone wants to talk and drink with her, but her eyes are on Yu, and she's worried whether he'll be okay. She watches as Yu talks to a co-worker, who asks Yu about his experience working under the notoriously scary Kanaway. Yu simply says that he enjoys working under her and appreciates how she is straightforward in correcting his flaws. Yu then gets offered to drink alcohol by a co-worker, who would love to see Yu get drunk, but knowing he doesn't like to drink, Kanawa pops up, grabs Yu's glass of beer, and chugs it herself. She says that she did it to check for poison, and to ensure that her junior won't face any danger. She keeps on drinking, and when someone offers Yu to drink beer, Kanawa quickly pours iced tea for Yu, preventing him from drinking. Kanawa then goes to the bathroom, and after half an hour, Yu is worried about her not returning. Suddenly, Yu spots Kanawa feeling sick, and she almost collapses in front of him, saying that she needs to go home. Yu tells her that he will get her stuff, but everyone begs Yu and their boss to stop Kanawa from leaving, as it is the first time she has gone out with the rest of them. Suddenly, Kanawa screams Yu's name, and when he looks at her, Kanawa scolds Yu for his bad work, saying that they have a job to do, but she secretly gives him a code to leave. After a moment, Yu sees the code and follows Kanawa out of the place, and the others think that they have work. On their walk home, Kanawa apologizes for making a scene, but Yu assures her that he doesn't like drinking parties and that she saved him. She starts getting more tipsy, so Yu helps her sit down on a bench. She suddenly asks him if she's a scary mentor, and she points out how Yu was nervous during the whole party, which made her think that it was because of her. Yu admits that he was nervous because it was his first party, and not because of her. Hearing that, Kanawa gives a tip for Yu to breathe deeply whenever he gets nervous, but that reminds him of the past. Back then, Yu was about to go through the job interview, and he felt nervous. But then, even before they knew each other, Kanawa popped up and advised Yu to take deep breaths to lower his anxiety. Yu tells Kanawa that she has always been kind since the day they met, and it was she who was always being considerate to him. Then, Yu tells Kanawa that he would like to go out drinking with her, and to his surprise, Kanawa answers with a bright smile that she would love that as well. But then, he realizes that she's extremely drunk, so he goes to help her. The next morning, in the office, Kanawa scolds Yu for smelling horrible, and he explains that after he helped her get home, he had to sleep at a friend's place before going straight to the office. Suddenly, Kanawa notices a kiss mark on his shirt, but before she gets to ask about it, a co-worker teases Yu for it, saying that Yu must have had a great night clapping his hot girlfriend's cheeks. Kanawa wonders whether she should ask if Yu has a girlfriend, but before she even asks, Yu explains that he got the kiss mark when he was helping Kanawa get a taxi. In that moment, Kanawa remembers how, while drunk, she kissed his shirt, so she quickly tells Yu to take it off and get a new shirt. But then, they get called by their boss, and he informs the two that they will be sent to Okinawa for a business trip. Days later, the duo is on a plane heading to Okinawa, and Kanawa starts the journey by reminding Yu sternly about being on time. But when they look outside, they are in awe at how glistening and beautiful the Okinawan ocean is. After they landed, they went to the airport to meet the photography team there to take pictures for their advertisement, and they greet each other before briefing for their first shooting location. They get in cars to get there, and when they arrive at the beach, Kanawa feels warm inside. Then, the photo shoot starts, where they take pictures of their model, posing like she's a Temu Victoria's Secret model. But then, out of curiosity, Yu asks Kanawa why she is also in a swimsuit, even though she's not the one modeling. Kanawa makes an excuse to hide her excitement, saying that they all should wear swimsuits so they won't be rude to the model. Yu points out that the model is wearing a swimsuit because it's her job, so Kanawa has no reason to wear hers. That makes her sad, and Yu quickly retracts his words, saying that he doesn't really know the rules of swimsuit photoshoots. Just then, the model's hat flies away to the ocean, halting the photoshoot. But Kanawa quickly runs to the ocean and starts swimming to get the hat, not caring about getting wet. She celebrates getting the hat, hands it over, and tells Yu that she was right to wear a swimsuit to the photoshoot. Yu agrees with her statement and says that he will also wear swimsuits from then on. But Kanawa realizes just how excited and immature she has been, so she drops her energy. Just then, one of the producers thanks Kanawa for the save, but when he looks closely, he praises Kana's physique, saying that she looks extra creamy in her swimsuit. Yu watches on, and when the creep wants to touch Kanawa, he quickly speaks up and makes an excuse for them to gather with the others. When the creep leaves, Kanawa thanks Yu for the save, but he feels uneasy after what he just saw, and doesn't know why. After, they go to a different spot and ride bikes to get there. They take pictures of the model in different locations until night falls. Yu is taking a break when Kanawa pops up with a bottle of cold water, telling him that he needs to drink. They enjoy the sunset together, and Kanawa accidentally compliments his hard work, which makes her flustered. She quickly walks away, but Yu smiles at her compliment. Later that night, they all hang out at a local restaurant, and the producers give high praise to Kanawa for being perfect in managing the whole photoshoot. They also praise Yu for his hard work, but he humbly says that he still has a lot to learn. Just then, the restaurant holds a traditional Okinawan folk song, and they encourage the audience to join in dancing their traditional dance. The others encourage Kanawa and Yu to dance with them, but it's an absolute nightmare for Kanawa, who's scared to embarrass herself. Meanwhile, Yu happily gets up and dances, even though he looks like Donkey Kong banging drums. He invites Kanawa to dance with him, and while she's uncertain, Yu says that what matters is that they have fun. After hearing that, Kanawa gets up and joins the dance, which she unexpectedly enjoys and has fun. When Yu glances at her, she smiles at him, and his heart skips a beat. Later, in his room, Yu wonders why he has been feeling uneasy around Kanawa, and she suddenly pops up at his door, and she hands him some sunscreen, saying that Yu is sunburned. He realizes that she is right, and she scolds him for forgetting to put some on, considering they're doing a photoshoot for a sunscreen promotion. Yu feels bad about it, and seeing his mood, Kanawa quickly lightens the conversation, which makes Yu smile, and she blushes. The next day, the group travels all around Okinawa, taking pictures of the model in even more various places, and they enjoy themselves during it. After they finish, they all congratulate each other for the great work, and Kanawa announces that they will get a full day of free time in Okinawa. She wonders what Yu will do in his free time, and worries that he might not want to spend his free time with his senior. Just then, one producer suggests that they all go sightseeing together, but Kanawa is frightened at the idea, knowing that she's all out of her social battery. Yu notices her reaction, so he quickly makes an excuse about how they have plans to visit different cafes, saying that they need inspiration for their next project that is cafe-related. Kanawa quickly agrees, and the others agree to leave them to their cafe hunting, but they remind Kanawa that they will be staying in a different hotel that night. Afterward, Yu apologizes for making Kanawa come with him, but she assures him that he saved her. He then looks at different cafes on his phone, and she helps suggest which one they should visit. So, for the whole day of free time, they visit different cafes, trying out different food and drinks. But when Yu glances at Kanawa under the sun, he can't help but blush at how pretty she is. Afterward, Yu thanks Kanawa for tagging along with him and for her great work. But that makes Kanawa wonder whether he enjoyed his trip to Okinawa, even though it's a business trip. But then, tragedy strikes, and when they get to the hotel they are staying, the receptionist informs them that the rooms they booked are only one room, and Kanawa is confused by how this happened, not knowing that the person who booked the room got lazy and accidentally booked one room for Kanawa and Yu. Kanawa orders Yu to take a bath first and handle the issue afterward. Kanawa then takes a nice, relaxing hot bath, and she feels anxious to share a room with a being who has a third leg. She believes she attracts bad luck, remembering how a similar thing happened between her and her old senior, Kanzaki. But she convinces herself that she can get through it. Then, when she enters the hotel room, to her surprise, Yu is packing his bags, and he says that he's planning to sleep in an internet cafe to avoid disturbing Kanawa's sleep, knowing she'll be bothered by him being there. She stops him and says that she had this happen before with her senior, but Yu misunderstands, thinking her old senior is a dude, and gets jealous. He walks to the door, but Kanwa stops him again and challenges him to battle her in the game they played before. She mocks him for being scared to lose to her, and Yu takes that challenge to heart, so they play the game for hours, eating snacks and having fun. Kanawa gets frustrated for losing all the time, so Yu gives her some pointers, and when she smiles, Yu blushes more red than a tomato. Kanawa notices it and asks about it, thinking it's sunburn, but Yu quickly excuses himself, saying that he's getting more drinks. On his walk, he wonders why his heart is beating so fast, but when he remembers Kanawa's old senior, he feels jealous of him. Then, when he returns to the room, Kanawa is asleep, but she quickly wakes up and demands they continue playing, refusing to stop until she gets a win. It ends with them playing until the morning, and they almost get left behind. On their run, Yu asks if she had fun, and Kanwa says that she did, which makes Yu flustered once more. Some days later, the weather broadcast states that there will be heavy rains and typhoons in the city, so they suggest that people stay home. However, despite hearing that, Kanawa knows that she still has to go to the office for multiple purposes, and suddenly remembers Yu. As his mentor, she tells herself that she can't slack around, and has to ensure that Yu goes home early from work today. She suddenly daydreams about the trip with Yu, but quickly pulls herself together. She then makes sure she's prepared to face the rain by wearing waterproof boots and bringing a towel. But after she leaves, she forgets to bring her umbrella with her. Then, once she arrives at the office, she's surprised to see Yu there with her and realizes that they are all alone, just the two of them. She urges him to work fast so they can go home early, and the two of them start working. Kanawa feels nervous being only with him, unlike the usual, with everyone there. She convinces herself that she's fine, remembering that they spent a night in the same room together, but she tells herself that it could have been avoided. Then, it starts raining harder, and they need to go to a meeting, but while Kanawa is wearing waterproof boots, Yu is not, and she scolds him for it, so he will prepare better next time. But then, when they get to the lobby, Kanawa realizes that she forgot her umbrella at home, and sees how stupid she looks now after scolding him about the boots, only for her to forget her umbrella. Just then, Yu pulls out an umbrella and hands it to Kanawa for her to use. When she tries to reject, he pulls out a smaller umbrella, saying that he's always prepared by bringing two with him, which makes Kanawa feel like more of an idiot. Outside, with the umbrella, they fight against the powerful rain, but while Kanawa is safe under the big umbrella, Yu is struggling under the smaller one. Seeing that, Kanawa covers him up and insists that Yu uses her one, but she refuses and walks off with the smaller umbrella, which is helpless under the rain. Having had enough, Kanawa insists he uses it, saying that he can't be wet for the meeting, but Yu grabs the umbrella to share it, which makes her blush when his skin touches hers, and together they walk to the meeting. Under the umbrella, Kanawa can feel Yu's warm body pressing against hers, and she just notices how tall he actually is. Then, they make it to the meeting and show the clients their various products. Yu takes the lead to present their business to the clients, and seeing that, Kanawa is in awe to see his performance, but is annoyed that so far, she has been nothing but a pathetic senior to him, so she tells herself that she has to send him home early. When they get back to the office, she dries him with her towel, and while Yu enjoys being pampered, Kanawa sees Yu like her cat at her parents' house. Then, in the office, Yu hangs his jacket on his chair, and when Kanawa sees it, she thinks that he hung the jacket wrong. While holding it, she sees how big it is and gets curious, and when Yu returns with coffee, he catches her wearing his jacket and playing around with it. When she realizes that he was watching, Kanawa squeals out of embarrassment. Then, they watch as the rain falls, and talk about how the new season of One Punch Man has horrible slideshow animation. But suddenly, a thunder roars, scaring Kanawa. She retreats far away from a window, and seeing how scared she is, Yu invites her to play a word game, which calms her down until the thunder passes. They get back to work, and seeing that it's getting dark, Kanawa tells Yu that he should go home early. He asks if she will be staying, and she says that tomorrow she will be working from home, so she needs to finish up some stuff. He asks if he can help her with anything, and hearing that, Kanawa's eyes lit up. So she asks you to grab a document over at the sales department, while she attends an online meeting. As she leaves, she wonders how he can be so kind. Then, when Yu gets to the sales department, he meets a familiar face, and they greet each other warmly. Seeing that Yu is free, the guy asks for his help, as long as he's free, and Yu agrees to help him. Meanwhile, Kanawa is finishing her online meeting, thinking that she did a good job by sending Yu home early, but to her shock, Yu is still in the office. When asked, Yu explains that a friend of his asked for his help, and that he's the same friend who helped him when he was job hunting. That enrages Kanawa, so she power walks to the sales department, and when she meets the guy, she brutally scolds him, telling him not to push his work onto her junior. The guy tells Kanawa that he told Yu that he needs his help only if he was free, but Kanawa calls him out on his nonsense and states that, as a senior, they both should know that juniors almost never reject a senior's request, which the guy took advantage of. She looks the guy dead in the eye and tells him not to burden Yu with his job, especially not when it forces Yu to work overtime. When Kanawa leaves, the guy apologizes to Yu, and Yu thanks Kanawa for speaking up for him. Kanawa reminds Yu that he can always say no if he wants, and Yu understands. Later, as they're about to go home, the storm becomes stronger, and Kanawa almost flies off with her umbrella because of it. Seeing her struggles, Yu offers Kanawa to share an umbrella with him, saying that while he is her junior, he is also a man who is capable of going against the strong wind to protect her. Kanawa accepts his offer, and they share the umbrella, walking against the full force of the typhoon. Seeing how powerful Yu is and how much he is fighting for her, Kanawa blushes. Suddenly, the wind almost blows them away, and Yu is leaning towards her. She tells him to lean the other way so he won't get wet, but Yu asks her instead to lean towards him, making her blush. When the wind blows even harder, she has no choice but to lean close to him, and the two of them walk against the wind while being extremely close to each other. Then, on the train, the mood is awkward, and they thank each other for the great work. When Kanawa is about to step out, Yu hands her his umbrella, saying that she should take it with her back home. She returns the favor by giving him her towel, so he can use it to dry himself later. Back home, Kanawa puts the umbrella right next to hers, and she realizes she's starting to catch feelings for Yu, while Yu is using her towel, feeling the same way for Kanawa. Some days later, Kanawa is planning to invite Yu out to drink, wondering how she should rizz him up. But when she's about to do it, she catches him with another girl. Kanawa wonders who she is and suspects that it's a fellow junior. Suddenly, the girl invites Yu out to a fireworks festival with her, and while Kanawa feels a tad bit jealous, she feels happy that her junior is making friends with a fellow junior. But then, some of their co-workers pop up, saying that they want to join in, and Kanawa watches in anger, saying that seniors like them would only make it awkward for the juniors. So she steps up to them and says that she also wants to join them. But when they hear that, the co-workers get scared and decide to cancel their plans of joining the juniors, giving Kanawa the win. But Kanawa quickly tells the juniors that she was lying about wanting to join them, and that they should enjoy the fireworks festival with the juniors only. However, both Yu and the girl invite Kanawa to join them. Then, the new girl introduces herself as Mio, a fellow junior from a different department, and she informs Kanawa that the real plan is for all the new juniors in the company to have a day out together. She even shows Kanawa that she booked the best spot to see the fireworks, and Kanawa is amazed to see it, and thinks that they should go by themselves, not wanting to make things awkward for the juniors. However, Mio insists that Kanawa join them, as she has been wanting to talk and hang out with Kanawa for a long time. That night, Kanawa thinks about what to wear, and has the idea of wearing a yukata, knowing it's a festival. She remembers how her mother bought her one. When she calls her mother to ask about it, the mom gets excited, thinking it's for a date, but Kanawa assures her that her cheeks have not been clapped. She then asks her mom to send her a picture of it, and when she sees that the yukata looks cringeworthy, she decides to buy it herself. The next day, Kanawa anxiously visits the yukata store, thinking which one she should get. A worker tries to help her, but Kanawa treats her coldly, which sends her away. While looking through the catalog, she suddenly wonders what Yu would like her to wear, but quickly gets flustered by that idea, so she quickly picks one that she thinks is half decent and is done with it. Back home, she tries to learn how to wear it from YouTube videos, but even after watching countless videos and spending hours, she fails to wear it. So the next day, she approaches Mio, and when she mentions wearing a yukata, Mio tells her that nobody was planning to wear a yukata, which makes Kanawa realize that she was too excited. But because of Kanawa's idea, Mio decides to wear a yukata herself, and hearing that, Kanawa asks Mio how she puts on her yukata. And when Mio mentions going to a salon to get experts to help her, Kanawa decides to go to a salon. After the conversation, Mio runs into Yu, and she teasingly mentions Kanawa's plan to wear a yukata, and Yu gets a bit excited by that image. Then, on the day of the fireworks festival, Yu, Mio, and the other juniors are waiting for Kanawa to arrive. And the other juniors ask Yu if Kanawa is really cruel, as the rumors say. But Yu defends her from their accusation. And in that moment, Kanawa pops up in her yellow yukata, flustering Yu. Then, after introducing themselves to each other, they get going to the festival, and the first thing they do is get some food to snack on. Kanawa says that she wants cold noodles, but Yu and Mio say that they don't have that here, so they suggest a takoyaki. Hearing that, Kanawa goes full sugar mommy and hands them her wallet. When they try to reject, Kanawa scolds them about stall foods being expensive, so she insists that they use her money, which they accept. Then, they return with takoyaki, which is something Kanawa has never tried, and when Kanawa eats it for the first time, she burns her mouth completely, making the others panic, and getting her shaved ice to cool down. While they eat, Mio and Yu joke around with each other, and Kanawa is envious that Yu never jokes around with her like that. Then, the two juniors play a shooting game on the fair while Kanawa watches, and while she watches the two of them, she sees two warm and kind people, which is something she doesn't see herself fit with. She starts walking away with no purpose, wondering why she's here in the first place, and the next thing she knows is that she got lost and broke her slipper. She then sees her phone has no battery after she forgot to charge it, so she decides to sit and wait, while pondering why she feels jealous seeing Yu being close with someone else apart from her. Suddenly, Mio pops up after she was looking for Kanawa, and when she sees that Kanawa broke her slipper, she decides to sit beside her. She informs Yu where Kanawa is located and tells Kanawa that Yu was worried sick, which flusters Kanawa. Then, Kanawa apologizes for ruining Mio's day with the others, but she assures Kanawa that it's okay, and she was honored to meet her. Mio continues and says that Yu talked about Kanawa a lot and how she is a great person, contrary to the rumors, so Mio wanted to meet Kanawa in person. Kanawa stops her from praising her further, but that only makes Mio see that Yu was right all along about Kanawa being kind. Just then, Yu pops up, being extremely worried, and when she sees that Kanawa broke her slipper, Yu acts quickly. Using a handkerchief and a coin, he fixes the slipper back to shape, which amazes the girls. Then, they head towards the fireworks, and among the crowds, Kanawa reaches for Yu to hold her hand, and he accepts her hand, which flusters them both. Then, once they get to the location, Mio leaves the two to get some drinks. In that moment, the fireworks start, and while they both watch in amazement, Kanawa wonders if their relationship would have been different if she were not his senior. Some days later, Yu is minding his own business when he suddenly sees Kanawa in the middle of a meeting, signaling him for something, not knowing that she is asking him to get her phone from her desk. When her boss calls for her attention, she loudly tells him to get her phone, and he now understands. Later, while Yu is on a break, Mio pops up and asks him why he looks down, suspecting that Kanawa scolded him. Yu tells her that Kanawa did scold him, and what he noticed was that Kanawa's dialect slipped out whenever she gets flustered, but Mio has no idea what he's talking about. Later, during work hours, Yu is struggling to focus while his phone keeps ringing. Kanawa notices, and when she asks him about it, Yu tells her that his parents have been messaging him non-stop, which bothers him during work hours. Kanawa lectures him to always feel grateful that his parents still contact him, but quickly regrets not saying it nicely enough. Just then, she notices that Yu's parents call him Yu-chan, which she finds cute, while Yu doesn't. She then teases him by calling Yu-chan, which makes him flustered. Then, she suggests him to visit his family, and he tells her that while they live close to him, he feels that it's not always nice to have parents who check up on him often and scold him for unwashed dishes or a messy room. Later at home, Kanawa understands what Yu is feeling, as she also doesn't want her parents to see her living condition. She later goes shopping at a shopping district she hasn't visited for a while, and when she sees the new selection she has never tried, she gets excited. But the one that gets her the most excited is the discounted bentos. But as she's about to take one, someone calls her name, and it turns out to be you, also shopping there, who explains that this is his neighborhood. He asks her what she is shopping for, and while she is here to buy some discounted bento, she doesn't want him to know that she doesn't cook. Just then, they see a couple buying ingredients for their dinner together, and when Kanawa turns to you, she sees that he looks jealous of them, not knowing that Yu is thinking about whether he and Kanawa look like a couple that is shopping together. Out of curiosity, Kanawa asks Yu if he ever wanted to have a girlfriend who is a good cook. She quickly regrets asking that question, and Yu says that being a good cook is a good thing, but he also likes the idea of cooking together and learn with his girlfriend, which pleases Kanawa to hear. He then asks her again what she's buying, and when she says vegetables, he suggests to her some fresh mustard spinach, which ruins her plan to buy discounted bentos. The next day, in the office, Yu notices band-aids on Kanawa's fingers, and she says that they are paper cuts, not wanting him to know that she was learning how to cook. Suddenly, Kanawa's mother calls her, and remembering her own lecture to Yu about parents, she hands him a pen, tells him to fix it, and answers the phone call somewhere private. Kanawa tells her mother that she shouldn't call her during work, but her mother couldn't wait and asks Kanawa if she has a boyfriend, remembering how she wanted to wear a yukata. The mom then says that if she doesn't, she would arrange Kanawa a marriage. Not wanting that to happen, Kanawa says that she has a boyfriend before hanging up. But there, she sees Yu, who heard the whole thing. She asks why he is there, and he explains that he doesn't understand what she means by fixing her pen. In that moment, she realizes that her dialect came out, and by fixing, she meant that she needs him to put it away. She asks Yu if her dialect pops out often, and while he tries to convince her that it doesn't, his face says otherwise, so Kanawa tells Yu to ask her for clarifications if her dialect ever shows up again. As she walks away, all Yu can think of is how Kanawa has a boyfriend, which makes him jealous. Just then, her mother calls again, and she tells Kanawa that she is in front of her place, and she wants to have dinner with her and her boyfriend so she can meet her future son-in-law. Seeing her shocked expression, Yu asks her what happened, and Kanawa explains how her mother is at her house and wants to meet her boyfriend. Yu congratulates her on that news, but Kanawa shyly tells him that she doesn't have a boyfriend. Hearing that, Yu feels relieved and guilty for feeling that, but seeing this chance, he offers to pretend to be her boyfriend. After work is done, the two of them make preparations, getting to know each other, and when Kanawa says that her hobby is playing video games, Yu says that he loves games too, and they bond over their love for games like Final Fantasy. Then, they go to the restaurant, and when Kanawa's mom arrives, Yu is shocked by how young she looks, which makes him think she's Kanawa's sister. Yu introduces himself as Kanawa's boyfriend, and the mother is delighted to finally meet him. Then, after an hour of talking, she asks Yu what he loves about her daughter. Kanawa gets flustered by that question, realizing that Yu can't answer this. But before Yu says anything, Kanawa gets a phone call. She answers it somewhere else, leaving Yu with her mother. She tells Yu more about Kanawa and how, from a young age, Kanawa was known to be shy and awkward. But whenever it was needed, Kanawa always did what's best for the people around her, even when it resulted in people hating her, which Yu knows well. The mother asks Yu not to hate her for that, but Yu assures her that he will never hate his senpai, as he has seen with his own pair of eyes how kind she truly is under her tough exterior. Unbeknownst to him, Kanawa hears the whole thing. Afterward, they wait for the mother's taxi to arrive, and the mother tells Yu that she knows that they are not really dating after he accidentally called Kanawa as senpai. But she also tells Yu that she's happy that her daughter has someone like Yu on her side. Then, the taxi arrives, and before leaving, the mother tells Yu something, but Kanawa couldn't hear it due to being too far. The next day, Kanawa treats Yu to lunch as thanks for helping her the other day, and when her order arrives, she has tomatoes as a side dish, which she says she can't cut. Hearing that, Yu asks if she would give the tomatoes to him, and when she asks why, he tells her that he knows that cut in her dialect means eat, so he knows that Kanawa doesn't want to eat the tomatoes, meaning that she doesn't like it, and Kanawa gets flustered to know that Yu is learning her dialect for her. She then asks him what her mother told him before she went inside her taxi. And Yu remembers how the mother said that Kanawa really trusted him, as seen with her using her dialect. But Yu refuses to tell Kanawa about it and says that he's keeping it a secret. A few days later, Kanawa and Yu are preparing for the Racing Girls Cafe opening, and Kanawa praises Yu for handling everything so well. Yu shows her a dress he has chosen for the cafe staff, and Kanawa is instantly mesmerized. She catches herself wondering if Yu likes girls who wear something like that. Yu notices her drifting off, and she snaps back to reality, quickly composing herself before rushing off with a hasty farewell. The next morning, Kanawa runs into Mio and forces herself to keep a straight face as she returns her greeting. Mio wants to follow her to the cafe opening, but Kanawa only wants to shake her off. Mio refuses to leave her alone, so Kanawa ends up dragging her along. On their way to the cafe, Kanawa begins talking excitedly about the project and how well Yu has handled everything. Mio notices immediately and starts teasing her, which makes Kanawa flustered as she denies being excited. Mio tells her she is only jealous of Yu because he has such a good mentor. She adds that Yu has been glowing lately because of how easy Kanawa makes things for him. When they arrive at the cafe, Mio stops in surprise as she sees a huge crowd lined up outside. She asks Kanawa why everyone is there so early, especially her. Kanawa once again loses her composure as she tries to explain the thrill and rush people feel during a new launch. When she finally pulls herself together and turns around, Mio is looking at her with a face that clearly says, "I told you so." Embarrassed, Kanawa scurries off like a startled little mouse. Shortly after the duo walks in, they find Yu apologizing to someone who seems like he was complaining about a display in the shop. Mio and Kanawa quickly help Yu to set up the display, which apparently arrived a little later than expected. Yu thanks them for helping him and explains that it was late due to a mistake from the supplier's end. Mio tells him that it is not his fault, but Kanawa feels differently and tells him that he shouldn't have scheduled the delivery too close to opening. Yu quickly apologizes to her, but Kanawa apologizes back to him as well, blaming herself for not supervising him properly. This gesture throws Yu and Mio off guard, but Kanawa tells them to drop the discussion for later and focus on finishing the display. While everyone gets back to work, Kanawa mentally scolds herself for not saying anything the previous day when Yu told her about the delivery. Shortly after, the shop manager, with a strange smile on his face, interrupts them, announcing that 3 part-timers have just quit, leaving the trio shocked. With no other options, Yu, feeling like a failure, apologizes, and Kanawa offers to call a few contacts, telling him that it is not his fault. As soon as everyone goes back to work, Kanawa looks around and notices that there are very few workers available for the crowd outside, so she quietly disappears. Yu soon notices and asks Mio, who is also at a loss as to her whereabouts. Yu is disheartened and fears that she is furious because he messed up his job. But Kanawa appears behind, telling him to stop wasting time and get back to work. Yu turns around in shock to see her wearing the cute maid outfit and proudly telling them that she has to lead by example. She boldly tells him to stop brooding and get back to work, but she starts regretting her tone as soon as she turns around, wishing she had told him that in a nicer way. To everyone's shock, Kanawa turns around, grabs Yu by the tie, and pats his head like a wet puppy before strutting off like an ostrich and feeling on top of the world for doing a good job as a mentor. Shortly after the event begins, the rest of the maids are doing a wonderful job keeping the crowd entertained. Meanwhile, Kanawa looks like Chucky, as she is a complete disaster and even scares off a few customers. She moves so awkwardly that she ends up dumping ketchup all over a customer's food. She apologizes and offers to bring him a new plate, but the customer laughs it off and pretends to love ketchup just to spare her. When she moves to the next seat, she attempts an awkward dance while playing rock, paper, scissors. The customers barely react to her clumsy performance, but they cheer when they win the game. Their excitement makes Kanawa brighten up, pleased that she is not a total disaster after all. Throughout the day, Kanawa keeps stumbling through her shifts. She falls over, splashes drinks, and mixes up orders over and over. She feels a sting of jealousy when she sees Mio performing so effortlessly. Refusing to back down, she straightens up and promises to keep trying so she can help make Yu's first event a success. Just as she turns to head back to work, a cute girl stops her and asks her for a favor. During their break time, Yu thanks Mio for helping out and tells her that he is worried about Kanawa pushing herself too hard because of him. He explains that her movement throughout the day seemed forced, like the clanking from a robot. Mio tells him that Kanawa is not forcing herself. In fact, she wants him to rely on her more. She tries to explain it to him, even though Yu doesn't quite understand. She tells him that Kanawa is happy to help and doesn't want him worrying about her. While still discussing, the two are distracted by a loud cheer coming from the cafe, and they rush to check, only to find Kanawa with some of the maids dancing on stage. But it doesn't take long before she tumbles off to a corner. Thankfully, Mio rushes in quickly to fill in for her. Kanawa regains herself and comes back to the stage dancing like a metal goofball. But her soul almost leaves her body when she sees Yu in the crowd, staring at her. Later on, Kanawa tries to hand out flyers for the cafe outside, but to no avail. She is still feeling disheartened when Yu arrives and asks her to go back inside and take a rest, as the new employees have already arrived. Kanawa misunderstands his intentions and thinks he is calling her incapable of working in customer service. Yu vehemently shakes his head as he tries to explain, but she runs off to continue sharing flyers, but no one pays her any attention. Just then, they both turn around to see other girls killing it at their job, and this makes Kanawa sad. She accepts Yu's advice and decides to leave the job to others. While resting, she starts complaining to Yu, telling him how terrible she is at customer service. They both agree that just like the other maids, Mio is quite good at her job. Yu tries to cheer Kanawa up, telling her that she is good at supervising others and that his first event would have been a disaster without her. Even though he tries to praise her, Kanawa is too dull and doesn't get what he means, which ends up frustrating Yu. So he tries to cheer her up by telling her things he can't do properly, like swimming and a lot of other clumsy things. The only thing that finally makes her laugh is the fact that Yu finds it hard to straighten his hair, which is why he comes to work with curly hair sometimes. After she feels better, Kanawa boldly decides to continue her maid adventure. Soon, they both walk inside to see Mio also having a bad day with a difficult customer, so Kanawa walks over to rough him up a bit. Her scary appearance even scares Yu as he tries to tell her to chill. But to their surprise, this action even makes the creepy customer happy as he explains that he has a kink for such. At the end of the event, the manager thanks Yu and Kanawa for a job well done, even though Kanawa still believes her maid act was a disaster. Later, Kanawa asks Yu why the customer earlier was pleased even though she was just being herself. He shows her the poster from one of the game characters, which looks like her, and Kanawa finally realizes that the customer is a fan because she looks fierce like the character, so she jokingly stands near it imitating the character. Yu, on the other hand, doesn't think Kanawa looks like the character, as he says she seems more like a master and not a maid. He explains that Kanawa is someone people should call master, and he can't imagine her as a maid calling other people master. Mio soon interrupts them and invites them out to go drinking to celebrate the success of their event. As Mio drags Kanawa out, she teasingly calls Yu master, leaving him flustered. Thank you for watching today's recap video. If you enjoy this recap and want a part 8, comment down below fake lovers and hit the like button.